It was my first year of university, the kind of time when you're nervous, excited, and hoping to meet new people and start fresh. I had just finished unpacking all my stuff into my dorm room, and my family had said their goodbyes. It was a weird mix of emotions, being alone in a new place for the first time. And later that same day, my roommate finally arrived. Right from the first second, I got the strangest vibe off him. I introduced myself. "Hey, I'm Dan," I said, sticking my hand out for a normal handshake. You know, like people do. He just stared at it for a second, almost like he didn't know what I was doing, then gave this awkward laugh and eventually gave me the most lifeless, cold dead fish handshake I've ever received. He didn't even tell me his name. I had to ask him, and he quietly mumbled, "Dale." I tried making small talk, asked him where he was from, what he was studying, basic stuff like that, but his answers were mostly yes or no, followed by awkward fake laughs or these strange little smiles that didn't match the vibe of the conversation at all. Within minutes, the room was silent. We both sat on our beds with our laptops open, not saying a word, and I remember thinking, I'm gonna request a roommate change. Anyone would be better than this guy. At first, I just thought Dale was painfully shy or maybe just socially awkward, but it didn't take long to realize he was something much weirder than that. Later that night, I went out exploring campus and met a few people on our floor who seemed normal and chill, so I felt a bit better. But when I came back to the room, Dale was still in the exact same position, sitting cross-legged on his bed, eyes locked on his screen like he hadn't moved the entire time I was gone. I said, "What's up, Dale?" And of course, he didn't even answer. I turned off my lamp around 9:30 and tried to go to sleep, but it wasn't easy because he stayed on his laptop until about 3 a.m. When he finally shut it, I managed to fall asleep, but I woke up maybe 45 minutes later because the blinds had been opened and the moonlight lit up the room, just enough to see Dale sitting upright on the edge of his bed, just staring directly at me. I sat up and rubbed my eyes like, "Dale, what the hell are you doing?" And he whispered, "Sorry," and laid back down like nothing happened. The next morning, he was gone when I woke up, and that was honestly the first time I'd seen him leave the room. I had no idea then, but that was only the beginning. Dale wasn't just awkward. There was something deeply off about him, and it was going to get worse. It was supposed to be one of those unforgettable college nights, just me and two of my closest friends heading out to a quiet corner of the campus nature preserve for a little Friday night escape. We brought some beers, a speaker, a small tent, and enough snacks to last us till morning. The lake by the preserve was calm. The trees surrounding it swayed gently in the wind, and for a while, it felt perfect, like our own secret hideout. We laughed, played dumb music, talked about everything from grays to ghosts, and around midnight, we settled by the campfire, letting the warmth soak into our bones. But somewhere between a joke and a sip, everything shifted. The wind stopped. No crickets, no owls, just nothing. One of my friends even joked, "That's horror movie quiet." We chuckled, but then came the sound. A soft crunch, something or someone was moving in the dark, just beyond the fire's reach. We turned off the music and stood completely still. I called out, "Hello," thinking maybe it was campus security or a random hiker. Then a stick hit the back of my friend's neck, tossed. From the shadows, we spun around, flashlights out, scanning the trees, but saw nothing. Then another one flew in, this time landing right in our campfire, sending sparks flying. I grabbed the flashlight and scanned the woods, but everything just looked empty. My friend Sam muttered, "This isn't funny anymore," but none of us were laughing. Then the worst part, footsteps, fast ones, rushing through the woods like someone circling us. We couldn't tell how close, but they were real. One of my friends completely panicked and ran back toward campus, screaming for help. Me and the other guy stood frozen, holding our breath, until suddenly something heavy crashed down just a few feet from us. I turned and saw a figure, a tall silhouette ducking just behind a tree, barely visible in the flicker of our dying fire. That was enough. We grabbed our bags and bolted, hearts pounding, lungs burning. We didn't stop running until the forest broke open onto the road leading back to the dorms. Even then, we didn't speak. We just kept moving. When we finally got inside, I checked my phone and realized we'd only been out there for 3 hours, but it felt like an eternity. The friend who ran first was already back, pale and shaking. He said someone followed him for a while but then disappeared. We all looked out the dorm window toward the preserve and swear to God, we saw someone or something standing at the tree line, watching, just standing there. That night changed everything. I never went near the preserve again, especially not after dark. And to this day, I have no idea who or what was out there, but it knew we were there, and it wanted us to know it, too. I wasn't even supposed to be at that party. It was one of those underground frat events, the kind you hear about through vague group chats and half-whispered invites in the hallway. My roommate talked me into it, saying it would be legendary and that they were letting in non-Greeks for once. The house was off campus, almost hidden, with no lights outside except a flickering porch bulb and bass thumping through the walls. Inside, it was packed wall to wall, dimly lit, and smelled like cheap beer, sweat, and something. Off. I lost my roommate within 5 minutes, swallowed by the crowd, and ended up near the makeshift bar, where a guy with a ski mask was pouring drinks into unlabeled red cups without ever making eye contact. When I asked what it was, he just grinned and said, "Strong enough." I should have walked away, but I didn't. I took the cup, sipped once, and that's the last thing I remember clearly. The next thing I knew, I was waking up in total darkness. I mean, pure black, no sounds, no lights, just the damp, heavy air of a basement or storage room. My head was pounding, my limbs felt disconnected from my body, and for a few terrifying seconds, I didn't even know who I was. Then, I started to piece things together. The party, the drink, the ski mask. Panic hit me like a wave. I tried standing, but stumbled into something solid, a wall. Then I heard it, a slow, steady creaking, like floorboards shifting above me. Someone was walking overhead. I stayed perfectly still, heart racing, trying to breathe silently. Then came the sound of something metal dragging across the floor nearby. I whispered, "Hello," but got no reply, just a muffled laugh from somewhere far too close. I moved toward the faintest glow of light leaking through what looked like the bottom of a door, and just as I reached for the handle, I heard a soft knock behind me. Not on the door, on the wall. 3 slow, deliberate taps. I froze. That's when I noticed there were scratches on the floor, like someone else had tried to claw their way out. I didn't wait any longer. I kicked the door open with every bit of strength I had and sprinted up into a side hallway that led out to the back of the frat house. The music was still blasting upstairs, and no one even noticed me as I stumbled out the back exit and down the street, half blinded and shaking. When I finally got back to campus, I went straight to my dorm and locked the door. I didn't tell anyone for weeks. The house was raided later that semester, shut down for violations, but they never said what exactly. I don't even know how I got out, but sometimes I still wake up in the middle of the night, heart racing, remembering the sound of that knock. 3 slow taps from inside the wall. It started during the second week of the semester, just a light knock on my dorm room door around 47 a.m. I thought maybe someone was drunk and lost, so I got up, opened it, no one. The hallway was empty, cold, silent. I went back to bed, a little weirded out, but shrugged it off. The next night, same knock, same time, same silence when I opened the door. It happened again and again, every single night, always at 47 a.m. No voices, no footsteps, just those 3 soft knocks. I asked my floor mates if they'd heard anything, but no one had. My roommate had moved out the first week to Noisy, to Cramp. He said so I was alone. I thought maybe it was a prank, someone messing with me. But the weird thing was, it always stopped if I waited to answer. The knock would happen, and if I just laid there holding my breath, it never came a second time. Just once, always 3 taps. One night I set an alarm for 2:45 and sat there waiting in the dark, phone in hand, camera ready. Sure enough, at the 47 on the dot, the knock came. I jumped up, flung the door open, and saw someone or something rounding the far end of the hallway corner. Not walking, gliding like their feet didn't touch the ground. I ran after it, heart pounding. But when I turned the corner, the hall was completely empty. I even checked the stairwell, nothing. That night I didn't sleep. The next day, I went to the raw, who half laughed, half nodded, and said, "You're in 312, right?" I said yeah. Her face changed. She told me to talk to the campus housing director. I did, and that's when I found out 3 years ago. A student in my exact room went missing, vanished. The only thing they ever found was a voicemail he left at 2:48 a.m. just heavy breathing, and 3 soft knocks. That night, I pushed my desk against the door. No knock came, but at exactly 2:47 a.m., the closet door inside my room creaked open by itself. I sat up in bed, frozen, watching the dark space stretch wider and wider like something was stepping out. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. Then I heard it, those same 3 knocks. Not from the hallway this time. From under my bed. I didn't scream. I couldn't. I just closed my eyes and waited for morning. When I woke up, everything was still. Normal, even. Closet shut, door undisturbed. But scratched into the inside of the closet door were the words. I knocked. You didn't answer. I transferred rooms that day, and I still don't sleep through the night. Sometimes, I'll be alone in a new room or hotel or friend's couch, and I swear I hear them again. Just 3 soft knocks. Always at 2:47 a.m. It was supposed to be closure. After everything, the missing time at the frat house, the nightly knocking, the whispering paranoia that followed me from room to room, I thought maybe facing the place would make it all stop. The old nature preserve behind campus, the same woods where we partied that first night, was being cleared for a new dorm project. I figured it was my last chance to put everything behind me. I went alone. No phone, no friends, just a flashlight and an old hoodie. I thought maybe I'd find a tree I recognized, a piece of trash, anything that would prove the night actually happened. What I found instead was a trail fresh, like someone had dragged something heavy through the dirt not long before. I followed it. I don't know why. Every step made my skin crawl, but I couldn't stop. The sun dipped low, and the woods got darker with every second. That's when I heard it again. Not footsteps, not an animal, a whisper. My name, from deep in the trees. Then, the knock. Not on a door, there were no doors, but I heard it. 3 slow, distinct knocks, like something was reminding me, I'm still here. I spun around, and my flashlight flickered. The beam caught something just for a second. A figure, tall and thin, standing behind a tree. No face, no eyes. Just a vague outline darker than the shadows around it. I ran. I didn't care where. Branches tore at my arms. My feet caught roots. I tripped twice, but I never stopped. I could hear it behind me. Not chasing, just following. Like it knew I'd tire eventually. My flashlight died, but the moon was bright enough now to make out a clearing ahead. That's when it happened. I stepped into the open and everything went silent. Not quiet, silent. No wind, no leaves, no breath. Like sound itself had been swallowed. I turned in slow motion and it was there. Not moving, not attacking, just watching me. And then it tilted its head. That's when I saw the mouth. It smiled. A wide, unnatural, grinning gash across a face that wasn't there seconds ago. I couldn't scream. I couldn't speak. I just closed my eyes. When I opened them, it was morning. I was lying on the grass, alone, right where the clearing had been. Only, there was no clearing anymore. Just trees. No sign anyone had ever walked there. No trail. Nothing. I left campus that day. Changed my number. Switched schools. But every year, on the same date, at exactly 2:47 a.m. I wake up. Not to a knock, but to that smile in the corner of my room. Watching. Waiting. And I know, whatever it is, whatever followed me out of those woods, it's not done with me yet.